We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. We're doing a TikTok live tonight, and it should be interesting. There's a lot of stuff that happened today and yesterday that people probably want to talk about. There are some things that people are freaking out about that probably they don't need to freak out about, and we'll talk about those things as well. We'll have some of the regular guests in as well. People like TJ, Rebecca, maybe Eric and Will. And the important thing is I want to get a lot of you folks out there talking. I want to involve you in this TikTok live. The important thing is we get a lot of people talking, a lot of people speaking out, because that's what it's going to take to beat what's going on now in our government. It is a total mess. It is fucked up beyond all repair. FUBAR. But we can't give up and say, oh, all is lost. It's not. It's just not. We've got a lot of people coming in right now. TJ the plumber is with us right at this point. He serves a dual purpose. He will come in with some comments, but he's also kind of he's a moderator. And I was going to say what you are to Trumplafucks, but I'm afraid fucking TikTok would whine about the word I use, so I won't do that.
I'm the sheriff around here. How's that?
There you go. Yeah, they can't cut us off because of that. You are the sheriff around here, and you do a hell of a job in cahoots with your wife, Rebecca, who is frequently out there. JD Farmer says hi. Hey, JD. You and I were talking just before we came on, and there are a lot of people freaking out about this Judge Chutkan thing, where she isn't going to stop. She isn't going to stop Elon Musk from going into these departments because they didn't show enough evidence that they're doing permanent damage or that sort of thing.
Right.
A lot of people freaking out about that shit.
For no reason.
Yeah, I'm not really freaking out about it at all either, but explain why you're not freaking out about it.
Well, the reason why I'm not concerned about it is just because they didn't meet the burden of proof now doesn't mean they can't meet it a little bit down the road here. Because maybe they don't have adequate information that someone was harmed, but it's coming. We know what a fuck up Donald Trump is. So we know that, shortly hereafter, someone is going to be harmed by it, and then they have the burden of proof to put a stop to it.
Well, exactly, and that's kind of what Chutkan was doing here. She was saying, you don't have the evidence, but you got to do this, you got to do that, kind of instructing them in which way they have to go. In as far as if there's been people harmed, of course there's been people harmed, and you've got to get that evidence and supply it. I think what probably happened here is they filed this in a hurry to get it stopped as quickly as possible, and they didn't prepare it the proper way. So Chutkan's saying, go back, do it right, and then bring it back. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they jumped the shark a little bit, and they're probably getting a lot of pressure, and that's why it happened. Maybe they figured by the time it gets heard, they'll have what they need, and they clearly did not.
Yeah. Well, and, this is what I'm always seeing in the media. They come out with this damning information and want everybody to freak out, and that's what they do. They freak out. They're just baiting people into believing the worst and thinking all is lost. And that's one of the things that trouble me with the media more than anything. They misinform us, but they also kind of incite us to act inappropriately or overreact to things that probably don't need to be overreacted to.
Right. And I don't think that, and I think kind of maybe this is on purpose, they don't really articulate the whole story the way they should, and I know they don't want to seem biased maybe or whatever, but they need to, give the information fully and say, hey, even though we didn't meet the burden of proof at this point, they can refile this thing when they do. So
yeah, and they will, will. Yeah, it's a small loss, and don't freak out about it. I've got Rebecca and Eric in with us too. And Eric, we were just talking about this Judge Shutkin thing. No doubt you have some thoughts on it as well.
Well, the case is still going the way I understand it. This was just for like a temporary restraining order while the case played out. And like you guys were just saying, she said, this is unprecedented. It seems like Elon Musk is running unchecked through all of the systems. But she's like, I need something for you to work on. Give me something here that proves you guys are being harmed. Someone's being harmed somewhere that can't be reversed later. And she goes, if you get me to, then we'll talk. But she's not. Some people in my comments are saying she's bought and paid for. She's corrupt like Cannon. She's not. She's following the law and saying, look, like you guys were just saying, this was rushed. It was filed. They were trying to prevent everything. And she goes, you guys just got to bring me a little more information and then I can do something.
Right, right. Now, this one's going to go to all three of you. This is a question in the comments. It comes from V. She says, I'm worried that Elon Musk is going to stop our Social Security payments. We are in our 70s. And, you know, that's a reasonable concern given that we know that Elon Musk was in the Social Security Department. And people are freaking out. There's a lot of pushback. And I know that Carolyn Levitt was freaking out, too, about people hitting her up about that Social Security stuff. And she would say, we're just checking for misappropriation of funds. We're looking for government waste. And my answer to her would be say, that's well and good, but that's what you said about the Treasury Department and the Labor Department and the Education Department, and people stop getting money and people stop or were fired from their jobs. So to suggest you're going to go into Social Security and do nothing, well, your track record says otherwise. However, you notice people are starting to freak out a little bit with the Social Security. I think they understand that this is the red line. They need to stop fucking around too much because that will let everything loose. It will be, the hounds will be released.
Yeah, people are freaking out. I don't think they're going to do much with Social Security. The bulk of what they're claiming to have found so far is just the fact that these kids and Elon Musk even don't know what the hell they're looking at. They don't know what these systems do.
Right.
They're used to modern systems, and some of the stuff hasn't been updated in a long time. They're using older programming code. For example, this is the way I understand it from other people who have explained it in articles I've read. It uses a programming language where if you don't enter a birthday, like if they don't know somebody's birthday, it defaults them to having been born in like 1875. Well, now that comes in and they go, oh, see, we got people that are 150 years old getting Medicare or getting Social Security payments. No, it's just we don't have their accurate birthday, but because they don't know what they're looking at, they assume there's something nefarious going on.
Right.
For being smart people, for being supposedly this genius, he don't know shit.
No, they don't know anything. And since we're talking about people freaking out about this, I thought we'd bring in Will. Will, I saw your videos about Judge Chutkin's decision, and you seem a little fired up about that. I mean, what the fuck aren't you fired up about? But this one particularly.
I mean, no, that one, it's just, and I was hearing Eric's breakdown of it. I hope that's true, Eric, what you're saying, that the AGs did a sloppy work and they dropped it on her desk, and she needs something lawful to move on. I hope that's true. My concern is that if she's stuck in a Washington bubble, listening to what's going around in Washington, that could be tough, because if she in any way supports Musk and Doge, I'll be honest, at that point we're all fucked. Because the Supreme Court going, yep, there it is. He can do anything he wants. That's my concern. But your logic makes sense to an extent.
Well, the article I read on it said that her word specifically was, you haven't brought me it. Well, maybe that wasn't specific, but the breakdown was, you didn't bring me anything. You haven't shown me that there's harm here. Show me it and we can talk. But she can't issue such because they wanted her to issue a sweeping restraining order, getting Musk out of every single department, basically getting Doge out of everywhere, and saying, stop everything. And she goes, we don't have precedent for any kind of a huge restraining order like this. You got to at least bring me something that, because she doesn't want to end up, no judge wants to be overruled on appeal. I think that's what she's looking at going, if I grant this, Court of Appeals is going to toss it because I've got nothing, I'm speculating.
What they were asking for was way too broad.
Yeah.
Is basically,
I mean, should they come at it from a constitutional standpoint? I mean, that would have made more sense because Doge is not a constitutional. It's not constitutional because it hasn't been created by Congress. Elon Musk is not being appointed by Congress or been approved by the Senate. I mean, I thought that would make more sense because that's a constitutional thing she could rule on.
She was talking about that, and she said, we have somebody who has not been approved through Congress. We've got somebody who's not elected doing all this. But again, she needs one of the first questions when issuing a restraining order is there somebody who has been harmed, and will that harm continue, or is it immediate? And she goes,
right.
I'm going on maybes and what ifs. And she goes, I can't rule on, well, this might happen, or this could happen, or they could do X, Y, and Z. She goes, she goes, I just need more information. Is the boiled down version of it.
I need to throw a flashbang grenade in here. Because at my live, and what I'm seeing right now is the same Trumpican bullshit about Social Security. Let me give you idiots a lesson, okay, about Social Security. The money going to Social Security is my money, your money in your account. It's not tax money, it's annuity money that you pay out of your paycheck, like your 401k, to get back in the future. If I see one more of you dumb motherfuckers saying that it's taxes and you're wasting my tax money, I'm going to stick my foot up your ass. I've had it with you people. I've gotten all those comments on my video, and I've had it. Fucking read something. Sorry.
Read your pay stub.
Yeah. I tell you, there's one way we can fix Social Security. All those people that think Social Security is an entitlement and think they should take it away, we should take all their fucking Social Security money and spread it out amongst the people who believe in the whole fucking process. It's just, I'm tired of explaining it to people because they're adults. They've paid into it all these years, and to still not know what the fuck it is, it's just not acceptable. I'm going to pull somebody in here. This is a shot in the dark. I don't know if I know this person. But at this point, if I run into a Trumplafuck, this might be interesting because I need to get some things off of my chest, and there's nothing better to do that than a dumb motherfucker. So this one's not coming through. I'll try another one. There's a few.
No, he kept trying to get on my live, and I didn't trust it. So.
Well, I was kind of hoping he was.
Me too.
A bad guy, because I want to pound somebody. Well, here's a guy we know that will show up, and he. I was going to say he's of a right mind, but I don't know. I mean, he thinks like us, but the status of his mind might be questionable. Mr. Suave,
well, hell, he
how are
follows
you
me.
doing?
That tells you everything.
Hey, what's up, gang?
Hey,
Good to
Suave.
see ya.
Hey,
What's up, Will?
Hey, buddy.
You're just all over the lives today, aren't you, Suave?
I am. It's like I'm sundowning, so it's like I got some shit to say tonight.
Well, good. I'm glad I got you when you're at your worst. That's the best time. That's good live. So give it to us, Suave.
Oh, dude, Social Security, it's like, man, that's like the last straw for me. It's like I'm done with this shit. So now it's like time to figure out what the fuck we're going to do to get this asshole the fuck out of our government.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. And when I was hearing about the Social Security, I thought, I don't want to go in there and scare people and get people upset. because that's just not the way I do things. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, even if there's nothing to fear, maybe we should whip some things up. This will be the red line that people will freak out about. And maybe that's what it's going to take for all of us to stand up, hit the streets, do whatever the fuck we got to do, and just overwhelm these people with our opinions and our voices. We've got to get to that at some point. And I did a TikTok. I said, "Where's the fucking red line? Was it with the education department? Was it with the Treasury? Was it with the Labor Department? Is it now with Social Security?" There's got to be a red line when people just say, "Fuck it."
So here's an idea for you. What do you all think of we just kind of like took Elon Musk and took his money away and redistributed the wealth? We could make like every American a billionaire.
Well, he doesn't have that much money
to pay down the debt.
Not quite that rich, but
Well, he's worth what, 400 billion bucks?
Yeah.
And there's
That's a lot of money.
320 some odd million Americans.
333 million.
Yeah, I think we could probably give everybody a billion. What do you think?
That math doesn't work, but
math doesn't work.
No, the math doesn't work. A couple million,
And
maybe.
here's the insanity. I want to make sure, and I made this comment earlier today in the live, is the people who keep saying that they're doing this to get rid of fraud. Even the bleach blonde, bubble-headed bleach blonde that comes on at 5 was still trying to defend what Elon Musk was doing, saying that 15% of Social Security is fraud. They're paying people, that are in their hundreds of years old. That's an excuse, because people think that they're going to get this money back. They're not. There's going to be a $4.3 trillion deficit to pay for tax cuts for the rich. Where are they going to get the money? There it is, our money. And then fuck you, they got theirs, and that's the way it's going to work. If you don't like it, you shouldn't have voted for them.
Well,
Yeah, it's hard. Go ahead, Eric.
well, did you guys see? Speaking of it going back, Elon Musk is now claiming he's mulling over this idea of giving a dividend check to every American citizen or every American household, tax-paying household. 79 million households, a $5,000 check from all the savings he's going to get.
What
Of
savings?
all of their efforts.
At what point did he actually become president that he can decide that they're going to give money back to anybody?
hey, I think
Power of the proof doesn't sit with the president either.
that falls in the same realm of a infrastructure plan coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Well,
blowing smoke up your
Yeah,
ass.
no tax on tips, no tax
Yeah.
on overtime. Yeah.
I'm curious, Eric, where you heard that, because I heard something different. I heard that there was a rumor out there, and there's been no way to validate it, but the rumor was they saved so much money that every man, woman, and child would get a check for $8,000, which is absolutely ridiculous, because if they found waste, that money will have already been spent, so there's not like a fucking pile of money where you can start sending it out to people. And at $8,000 a piece for every man, woman, and child, we're talking about $270 million.
Well, apparently he has my social security number, so he can send that money at any time he wants.
Look, Coach Mox was on my live, and he did a wonderful diatribe because he read a piece on cultists and their brains. And he was making a great point, is that these people are so far down the line that they could say we're going to get $8,000 or $5,000, and they will believe it. Anything that man says, they will believe. No, even though we, with any kind of normal life, know this is bullshit. That's just to feed to throw a few bread, some loaves of bread to the peasants, but they're not going to get bread. You know what you're going to get? Rocks. This is insane.
Well, you know what's happening here. I don't know who put that out. There's no way to validate who put it out. It's just in the ether. And this is a Donald Trump strategy. When he went into Social Security and some of this other stuff, he's getting a lot of blowback. he's getting a lot of heat about this, and he doesn't like that. So he's trying to change the narrative in a sneaky way. He's trying to gaslight people by saying, "Oh, you might get $8,000," and then the dumb people will say, "Oh, well, see, fuck, then it's good because I get something." It's just a ploy to try to get people to feel comfortable. I'm just going to say this to anybody out there that's listening right now. There is zero chance you're getting $8,000. Just as there is zero chance that these people getting buyouts are actually going to get any money. It's not going to happen. There's no skin in the game for him to give the money out. It doesn't happen.
Well,
Yeah.
I just did the math on Elon Musk, and let's just say that he's worth $350 billion. If you divided that by the population, everybody would get a check for $1,060.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. And you can't do that because it has to go through Congress. Even when Bush gave us that 1 month little boost money during the Great Recession, it had to go through Congress. The COVID checks had to go through Congress. The loan things for COVID had to go through Congress. He can't do that. You dumb motherfuckers. He can't do it. And I'm pissed right now because we're dealing with absolutely stupidity and a short munchkin, illegal fucking alien running this country while the Weekend at Bernie's dude is out there fucking walking around playing golf, spending $50 million to go to the Super Bowl and then to the fucking Daytona 500, and people are sitting there licking his ass. I am fucking had it with these people today. I'm sorry I had it.
You're making me nervous here. You're angry, and I'm not used to seeing that. Fuck, it's scary. Just settle the fuck down.
No, maybe
Mr.
it's
Spent an
Suave,
hour and a half. I spent an hour and a half, and Mr. Suave can testify that looking at the worst stupidity and comments I'd ever read. I thought Coach Mox was going to go in there and slap someone in there. It was that bad. That's why I'm there.
You did an hour and a half live before this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need to take a breath is what you need to do. Because I did 2
we
hours
all
and a half.
missed
Riled up now.
fucking
Come on,
made me
we're all
tired.
hyped up, Mike.
Wow.
I mean,
No.
Mr. Suave, Coach, Oliver's mom did most of the talking. I just sat there and let them go because a lot of them had some good points.
What was
Audrey
the other
from
lady
Michigan
that
had
was
great
there,
points.
Will?
And then I just sat there and looked at the comments and just went, and so since I'm here, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. And
Well,
sorry.
I appreciate
It's
that.
frustrating.
I feel bad now that I'm just basically doing a rerun of Will's live. So, Mr. Suave, thank you for joining us. I'm going to get some
Hey.
people who we don't normally have on, just to see what they have to say. I
Cool.
want to talk to a lot of different people that we don't necessarily hear from. I think everybody deserves to be heard from. So let's do this one.
Well, one of the things
Let's
I touched on,
Michael Behrens.
one of the things I touched
Go
on
ahead, Eric.
is, one thing we need to remember. We've all said it has to go through Congress, right, for these checks. Well, one thing you need to remember: the power of the purse rests with the House of Representatives. And that's because at the time they wrote the Constitution, the House was the only body elected by the people. They're answerable to us every 2 years.
Right.
That's why they have the power of the checkbook. We don't give it to the president because he's elected by the Electoral College. It's not sitting with the court because they're appointed. The Senate, they were appointed at the time by state legislatures. The House has it because they're answerable to us. And we need to make sure they know that they're going to be answerable to us at the midterms.
Absolutely. Now we have Michael with us now. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's on your mind today? I can hear you.
I just really appreciate your thoughts and what's going on. And I've been a big follower of yours.
Thank you.
And I'm scared shit. I'm 60 years old. My wife's 65. Where is it going from here? You know what I mean?
Well, this is what I tell people. You're 60 years old. I'm 64 and a half, going to be 65. Your wife's 65.
You'll be 90.
What?
I said you'll be 90.
I'll be 90.
Yeah, well, you're
Yeah, in
64
about
and a half. You'll be
Yeah,
90
okay,
one
okay.
day.
Mike, I'll do the jokes. Anyway, anyway, Mike, here's my point. Given you are 60 years of age, how many troubled times have you been through in your life? How many problems have you gone through?
All right.
I have. How many have you been through a lot of shit in your life?
Yes, absolutely.
Me too. Have you ever been at a point where you didn't think you might even see tomorrow because you had no idea how this whatever situation is going to work out?
Not even this situation. We're going back to 2001. I
Okay,
worked
there
on
you
Wall
go.
Street for 26 years.
Wow. So my point is this, Michael. All those problems that you worried about at that moment in time, guess what? We're just sitting here now. We
Oh,
made it through.
absolutely. Yeah.
And this we will make it through too.
I have my, you know what I do? I leave everything up to God. It's not in my hands. I have no control.
Yeah, the universe has a way and God has a way of getting us through things. I swear to God, I think everything we go through is kind of a lesson, and we were maybe negligent or remiss about democracy. And this is a wake-up call to say, motherfuckers, do something. And I think it's going to be good in the end because I think all the people that were apathetic for decades and decades are now entrenched in this shit, and they're intent on fixing it. And we needed more attention to what's going on. It's going to be rough and people are going to struggle, but I think we'll come out the other end and people will be better informed and more involved in the future because they won't want to do something like this again.
I pray to God that happens. I'm going back to where we boycotted Gallo wine because Nixon drank Gallo wine. I'm going back to George McGovern running for president. I'm going back to and see this guy take office and where let me ask you a question. Where the fuck is Congress? Are they going to do anything to stop this guy?
Yeah. Or remember how we all quit smoking cigars when Bill Clinton was in office. That's a different deal. We won't talk about that.
Yeah, but the taste is really good though.
You got to think about that joke and probably shouldn't have done it. No, the point is that people do react. And I think with what's going on, we can talk about Congress. Personally, I'd like to see the way Congress runs totally different after we get out of this mess because we've got the Republicans that have been complicit with Donald Trump. They are culpable. They are guilty, accessories after the fact, every fucking one of them that supported Donald Trump. And then, of course, Democrats. We have many on our side, too, that are problematic. At best, there's a handful of Democrats that I feel good about, that are strong, and that we can continue on. Maybe we need to purge the whole fucking bunch of them and start over.
You know, the first time I heard purge was from our man Elon Musk. We have to purge. We have to purge these government agencies. Purge them. That's like, I don't know. It sounds like a science fiction movie to me.
Well, here's the thing about government waste in these departments or agencies. I will guarantee you there is waste in every one of those agencies. And that's what Elon Musk is going on. Everybody knows there's waste in government. So that gives him free rein to go do whatever he wants to do. The problem is, if there is waste in these agencies, we've got to dig them out and do it properly. When you dig these things out and they start hurting innocent people, that should be a red flag that you're doing it the wrong fucking way.
I agree. I'm sure there's plenty of waste. I mean, I've been disabled since 2008. I have lupus. So
Okay.
after working
Sorry to
on
hear
Wall
that.
Street for 26 years, I retired in 2008 due to health reasons.
After working on Wall Street for 26 years, you're lucky you're mentally sound. That's a fucking crazy place.
Yeah, especially when I was involved with the housing crisis,
Oh boy.
when
Oh,
American Homes and Visa Homes, all that nonsense. I was shorting bonds against the stock. I made
wow.
made the guy millions of dollars, and then they told me they wanted me to cut 10% of my staff. Now I work for 29 people working under me, and they were all kids with kids. So you know, I told them, I said, let me go.
Yeah,
I was done.
yeah.
I was done.
My,
Keep the kids.
I have a brother that was going to be a stockbroker. He's a good guy. He and I have like mind. And he went through the process, got all the licenses and all that stuff. And then when they were getting him ready to be a stockbroker, he heard what they told him he needed to do, and he says, fuck no, I'm going to get into something else." That is crazy. That is, taking your family for a ride and taking their money. It just, it's a messy business. It's a lot like government, and you've got to be a special kind of person to be able to handle that sort of thing. Michael, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I'm glad I got to speak to you for the first time.
Well, I'm glad you did too, and come back anytime.
I'll always be here.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike. Hey, I saw the best comment in here, and I want to bail, guys, because as Mike said, I'm going to warn out from being upset today. But someone made a good comment in here, and if you know the show or you know the game, it's The Last of Us. It's The Last of Us without the fungus, okay? And if you look at MAGA as a fungus, it's always trying to grow and everyone to become one mind. And that's kind of our problem right now. We have this unbelievable disease of these people of stupidity who won't wake up. And you can't wake these up because they're mindless little drones now. And the only way to get rid of them is basically we're probably going to have to ignore them and hopefully just push them out of the limelight, because that's where we're at right now. It's a disease that we're fighting amongst us of government right now. Anyway, I appreciate your time, guys. You have a good night and take care, all right?
Night,
Hey,
Will.
Will, I just want to say this
Yes, sir.
to Will. Will had a live earlier. He's on this live. And if you haven't gotten enough of Will, on the podcast right now is me and Will. So be sure to check it out. The Rational Boomer
And
podcast,
that was,
we want you to
and
check
we
it out.
talked
too.
about life. It's deep. Go check it out.
It's deep.
Later, guys.
It's
Be
deep.
safe.
Thanks, Will.
Hey, can I tell you guys something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had an argument on Messenger today with a Trump-la-fuck that I went to high school with. And he's trying to tell me about how great Elon Musk is and Donald Trump is, and they're rich and they're not bought by any influence, which we know is totally bullshit. But so he goes on to say that Elon Musk is finding all this corruption, and I'm like, okay, that's fair. Bring the receipts. And naturally, he can't bring the receipts.
No.
So I told him and I explained to him about what we talked about on the last live, where in order for an audit to be legitimate, it has to be done by certified people who are forensic accountants, right?
Right.
You know what his retort to that was? Tom
What's that?
Hanks is a pedophile.
Oh, yeah. Good comeback.
Yeah.
Good comeback. What you need to tell these people is that Elon Musk is the biggest welfare recipient in this country. He gets more government money. That's probably more than half of his wealth.
Oh,
And you know what? Wait till Donald Trump's not around and he gets prosecuted and all the contracts taken away. He'll be a broke ass convicted bitch when this is all said and done.
Yeah, he will. And those zit-faced idiot hackers that he has, they're all going to jail.
Yeah, the techno twinks.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to go to jail. Saw somebody in the comments asking about, is the courts our only guardrail at this point? The answer to that is right now, yes. The courts are the ones going to have to hold the line. But just as a reminder, and not everybody in the country can do anything about it, but we need to keep the message out there about those special elections coming up April 1st in Florida. If the Democrats can take both seats, House is tied, and nothing gets through without Democratic support.
Yeah,
If we win
I've
the
been,
other
donating,
special
I've been donating my
election,
small amounts to all of those as much as I can.
and if we win the other one in New York afterward, we would have a one-seat Democratic majority in the House, and nothing they want to do is getting through Congress. I mean, they can barely get it through now when they're in control. They wouldn't get it with a tied or one-seat Democrat majority. Nothing. It would be stonewalled.
Right.
Which a stalemate's the best thing we have to play for at this point.
Well, they're not going to get jack shit out of Mike Taylor, so there's that.
Well, I tell you this, the Congress and the House, that's all important, but there is another line of defense, and that's all of us. We get more incensed, we get louder, we push harder, and that court of public opinion does have some impact. We've already seen it a number of times. I'm pulling in Mary now. Mary, are you there?
I'm here.
Mary, what's on your mind today?
Well, so I seen an interview today with that guy from Canada, I guess it runs Canada, and he said,
Trudeau?
yeah, he said it will be a snowballing hell before Canada becomes a 51st state. Do you believe he'll stick to it? Because I'm afraid Trump's going to end up, he always gets what he wants. And
Well, Mary, I tell you that, Mary, there is no path for them to make Canada the 51st state. It's not going to happen. Donald Trump says a lot of motherfucking things that never happen. He throws this shit out there. Don't worry about Canada being the 51st state. It's not going to happen. Eric, why don't you back me up on this?
Well, even if Canada wanted to become the 51st state, which they don't, they would have to ask to be let in. Congress would have to say yes. It would go back to Canada. They would have to vote and pass a whole constitutional setup. It would take a long time if it even would. But there's no path for this to happen. Canada doesn't want to join. There's only like a small fringe group that wants to. Their equivalent of MAGA. It's a talking point just to keep people distracted about this idea of, oh, is he really going to get Canada? So we're not paying attention to the fact that he's gutting these government programs, that food prices haven't gone down, gas prices haven't come down. He hasn't made any of his campaign promises happen other than deporting a few people. He's not even on track to come close to his deportation promises. It's all a distraction.
Well, here's what's stupid about it. If Canada became the 51st state, the Republicans would never hold power again because overwhelmingly they're liberals in Canada. They'd be out of power forever. That they can't get that. Like Donald Trump is that stupid that he doesn't understand that they'll be done forever. The Republican Party, like there must be people in Congress that realize how stupid that is, and they just keep their mouths shut. I mean, it's ridiculously stupid.
Well,
Mary, don't worry about Canada. Don't worry about Canada becoming the 51st state. That's the least of our problems.
One more thing I just wanted to ask you guys. So,
Sure.
I can't let this shit fuck with my health because I've been so mad at him. I just take an extra blood pressure pill. I have had to do that once, but I'm not doing it because I get my hopes up. People say this is going to happen. They're going to get Trump out, and then here he is. But my question is, like, I'm raising my my grandson. I've had him for 6 years, and I'm disabled. I was in the nursing field for over 20 years, and I got in an accident, and I've been disabled for about 20 years. And my question is, can he take our checks away? Because I draw disability, and I don't know how I'm gonna raise my grandson. How would I pay rent? There's no way I could work.
It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. However, and not to scare you, but Elon Musk has been in the payment system, so we don't know what he's done to it.
See,
But
that's what scares me because I keep telling my cousin, I think he's up to something. What's he trying to do? Get all this information? Hell, he's not from here, right? He could go wipe out everybody's account and go back to his
right,
country and have
right,
more money.
right, that's true. But the thing about it is that if you take Social Security away from the public for people that rely on it, that'll otherwise starve and be on the streets, that's political suicide for every Republican ever. I mean, they'll be doxxed. Their addresses will be put out. There'll be hordes of people looking to hang them in the streets for doing that. So I wouldn't really worry about that.
Well, I told my
That's going to
cousin,
create that's going to create a revolution, and it is going to bury Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the Republicans. Granted, it's possible they could do it, but that would be the last thing they ever fucking did.
Yep.
And that would have to be fixed quick, fast, and in a hurry.
well, my cousin has the same worry, and I said, you know what, Bonnie? She has bad health. I said, let's just don't worry about it no more. You know what? On payday, if we get our checks, we do. If we don't, then she said, well, we'll all have to live together. Oh my God, who's going to pay the rent? You know,
Yeah.
we don't get that.
Well, Mary, here's the deal. I don't think you have to worry about not getting your checks. I really don't, because that would be the end game for everything. It would cause all kinds of problems. But here's the problem. People are in this world today, and they worry about all the things going around, whether it be international, whether it be Elon Musk or whatever. All you can really do is worry about what you can control, live your life to the best possible way you can. And if you want to speak out about some of the shit going on, that's fine. I mean, I don't have any more power than anybody else. So I decided to go online and tell people, and hopefully they'll tell more people. That's all we can do. Don't take the whole world on your shoulders. Focus on what you've got to focus on. Focus on taking care of yourself and do whatever you can to help out the larger situation. But you got to be happy and you got to be healthy yourself first before you can do any good. So focus on yourself. Don't worry about shit, because I don't see how that's going to happen. And if it does, there's going to be 70 million of you
Right.
that are going to be pissed off.
I,
And that
I'd
won't
be,
last very long.
What I worry about is my now 16-year-old grandson, and we got two dogs. We got a Rotsky that's 118 pounds and a Husky that's 60. Well, we can't all live in my car, but I said I'm not going to
No.
worry about no more. I'm just going to relax and see what happens.
in the grand
That's
scheme
what,
of
that's what you
in
got to
the,
do.
in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't worry about not receiving your Social Security. What I'd worry about is the skimming, because Musk and Trump created that sovereign wealth fund. Nobody knows what that's for. So if he takes a nickel or a dime or a quarter off of 77 million Americans every month for a year or two, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're dumb enough to commit suicide by taking it from everyone, but who's to say that they might, try to skim a little bit off the top, like the mob, because that's what they are, to skim a little bit off the top to fund their slush fund. That seems more realistic to me than them canceling people's checks.
Yeah, and I get just a little bit of Link, which I don't know. Illinois, I'm in Illinois, so Link is food stamps basically. I don't get much, but I get a little bit that helps,
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like we don't know if we're going to get food when that's going to stop. But,
Well, you should feel fortunate that you're in Illinois. You're in a blue
Yeah.
state. So
Well, now our governor Pritzker, he said he's not going to let that shit happen to his state. Does he? Can he stop Trump? I mean, is it state to state or what?
yeah, it's kind of state to state in a sense, because some states can, fill in the spaces where Donald Trump takes his shit. I live in Minnesota, and we've got pretty good coverage with just about everything. And Illinois is pretty similar to that. If you lived in Alabama, I'd have a different thought for you, Mary,
Yeah.
because they're going to be in trouble, and they deserve to be in trouble. But because you're in Illinois, I think you have less to worry about than some of these people
I
in
love
red
our
states.
governor, but you know, people
He's a
have
good
signs
man.
in the yard says Pritzker sucks. I want to go just take him out of the yard, but you know, you can't do that.
No.
But
Well,
I
if
love
they
him.
think Pritzker sucks, they must love Donald Trump. So
Yeah.
we will get Will back and have Will put his foot up their ass.
Hey, every time I take my dogs out back in the backyard because it's fenced in, and I sit on my back deck, right like over this road over here, but the house you can see big old Trump flag. Boy, I'd love to do away with that, but I can't. I got no control. But I got to stare at that Trump sign, and I'm like, oh,
I
You
wish.
got you got a 118-pound dog.
yeah, I do. He's a runner too. Boy, when he gets out, that's why I got to sit with him because he's a runner.
At
Yeah,
least,
yeah.
at least you know what you're dealing with when you see those Trump signs.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish my governor would troll Trump the way that J.B. Pritzker trolls Trump, because that.
No, he's way
Oh,
too proper for that.
I
I know.
love him. He's for
Yeah,
the people.
I like Pritzker too, and we've got Tim Walls, so we're in good stead. Mary, thank you for showing up, and
All right,
I
thanks
wish you
for
the
having
best.
me.
And I think you'll be
Thanks,
fine.
Mary.
Just focus on you and live as good a life as you can, and fuck what's going on in the rest of the world, because it's not going to do you any good to worry about it.
I know. I'm figuring that out. But thank you so much
Okay.
for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank
I
you,
like
Mary.
watching you because you're pretty smart.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much,
I don't know
Mary.
how to drop down.
I'll drop you out.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Mary, you know what, guys? This is what bothers me more than anything. Now, I get Social Security, okay? And if you cut off my Social Security, it would be painful, but I'll survive because I have other sources of income. But there are people that survive on Social Security and food stamps, and there is no alternative to them. And they are truly scared, and they're worried, and it's justifiably so. This is the one thing that bothers me about Donald Trump. He's putting a lot of stress on people that don't deserve it,
Yep.
and somehow he has to be punished for that in the end.
Well, that's karma. It'll get him.
Well, like we've been talking about, though, he's putting the stress out there, but if you look at it, big picture, it's got to go, like, to end Social Security or to scale it back big time or whatever the changes would probably have to go through Congress, and the votes aren't going to be there. They can only
Yeah.
lose like 2 votes in the House.
Right.
They have a 3-seat majority in the Senate, and those people need to get reelected.
Right.
And those midterms are coming, and they're coming fast. We're already seeing candidates start to announce. We're talking primary season is coming. That's all gearing up now. And if they start voting against Social Security and Medicare, and even to some extent this budget, which is probably going to fail, where they want to try to cut food stamps and all this, I think they're going to try it once, and then when it fails, they're going to have to work with Democrats, and they're going to say, "Look, this is the best we got. We got to do this so we can do something," because they're going to be looking at their reelection chances.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a government shutdown.
I'm pretty sure there is too.
Yep.
Okay, I'm bringing in somebody else here. We'll see if she hooks up. Kay who? Kay, are you there?
Hello. Yeah, can you hear
How
me?
you doing, Kay?
Good, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've been up here before. It's been a while though. So I
What's on your
am
mind?
I am a healthcare provider in Iowa and
Okay.
specifically OBGYN. And there is some legislation right now in the state of Iowa that is essentially going to turn Iowa into Trump's first breeding state. So it is
Wow.
going to remove analytical. Have you heard of this bill that I'm talking about?
I have not.
So it's
But I
called
can just
SB.
about imagine.
Yeah, SB 117. It's sponsored by 11 Republicans here in the great state of Iowa, and it is calling for, it basically removes oversight for pharmacists to say that they don't want to fill prescriptions if they don't feel morally, basically if they don't, if their morals don't align with the medication being prescribed, they don't have to fill it.
Well, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice.
So birth control could be off the table.
Birth control, HIV prep,
HIV?
any type of any adult that was getting hormone replacement therapy. So there's even females that are on hormone replacement therapy for. There's different forms of estrogen cancers that we put them on replacement therapies for. So
Jesus Christ.
it passed the initial subcommittee last week. So I am going down to the state capitol next week to meet with Representative Lindsey James on behalf of our hospital network up here in North Iowa. So that's what we've got going on.
And kill
Okay, I would
COVID
give you a
kids.
suggestion. I'd give you a suggestion, Kay, given what's going on down in Iowa. You may want to move to Minnesota. You'll do better here than you will in Iowa.
I would love to. That's where we send our patients who, if they're over 6 weeks because of the heartbeat bill here in Iowa, we say go to Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thought that heartbeat bill was going to flip Iowa. I did. I really expected it to, but
I just had a case last week of an ectopic that her fallopian tube burst because we couldn't intervene.
That's nice.
And she was in her 30s.
That's really nice.
Yep. Here in North Iowa. She
Well, you're
was
close
able
to
to be
Minnesota.
stabilized, but oh yeah. Are you familiar with the Mason City area?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So there is a large network of hospitals up here that are Catholic based. So that's a whole nother spiel there.
Yeah.
So before Roe versus Wade, I had 9 partners. Before this whole Roe v. Wade was overturned, I had 9 partners, and now I have 2.
Wow. They all left the state?
Yes. So one went up to Duluth, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember when the like Catholic hospital mantra was we just take first come first serve? That's why we would go to a Catholic hospital over another hospital, because they would take first come first serve over, because that was
they're so proud of the charity care. They like one of the biggest things is our charity care. We're just
fucking who?
The irony, the hypocrisy. It's just. But yeah, that's next. Oh, there was the Republican GOPs up here in North Iowa. They held a legislative forum last week, and it was a pretty large group of people. They held it at the library here in Mason City, and they had that room full. And so there's Representative Christian Hermanson and Doug Campbell. They were up here, and they essentially didn't answer any questions. Doug Campbell said, "Oh, I sign every bill that comes across my desk. I take off the meat and leave the bone," is what he said.
I have a question about that. How do you determine who's who when they're all wearing white hoods?
I know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fantastic. It was great. There's one bill that the state of Iowa is also trying to pass to introduce the Old and New Testament into public schools. And so there was a big hubbub about that. And there was a yelling match in the middle of this legislative forum. And at the end of the forum, we could hear one of the representatives saying, "Well, I don't know if we're going to do this again," because it was the first one they have done since they had won this election cycle.
Yeah. Well, even if that passes, it will get tossed in court. Even Oklahoma, red Oklahoma, said no. You can't have a Christian Bible private school funded by taxpayer dollars.
Right.
You know, when it comes to teaching the Bible in school, Louisiana, the court said no there. If they try it, the courts are going to say no. it's a clear violation. If you want your child to learn that, send them to a private school.
Yep.
That was exactly what they had said in the forum too. And a Catholic school parent brought up, well, my kid went to a public school and they brought home yada yada yada, just going off about trying to bring in the whole libraries into the conversation.
But how
Wow.
sad is it that like we now have to rely on the courts who take months, years, years and years to make decisions? Like it's just this, it's just ridiculous. Like how many people are going to die because everything has to go through the court system?
Well,
Well, that's why
that
we
kind of-
say the Republicans don't govern. They just create a shit show. It's all performative for them. They don't do anything.
Nope.
You know,
Well, to touch on what Rebecca was saying is that we have to rely on the court, sure. But to go back to what we were talking about at the very beginning with Judge Chutkin and his temporary restraining order, that's why, like, if they could have proved enough in that restraining order, she would have put a pause on implementing everything, and that's where, like, these laws would have to go into effect. They would put a pause while it plays out. So what if it takes 3, 4, 5 years for it to, make its way through the court if it's paused the whole time?
Yeah.
agreed. And
Yeah.
it is a huge deal. Like everything there was very vague, and she did need a lot more. Like she's not going to go in. She's an intelligent woman. Like she's not going to go into this with vague, and have all the appeals come back right away. And like she needs hardcore proof that harm was being done.
Right. And then she throws that stay on there. And if it takes a year for it to play through the courts, what's okay, he's out of the system for a year. In the case of this teaching the Bible in school, if that's put on stay for 2 years while it plays through the courts, well, they're not teaching it for those 2 years. So relying on the courts might be our only option, but at least they'll put pauses on it and prevent it from taking effect.
Well, what do you guys think about this? Given the climate in which we are living in right now, right-minded judges. Of course, there's some bad judges, but right-minded judges are going to do everything in their power to expedite things that are important that are happening right now. I wholeheartedly believe, because today, 900 former prosecutors signed a letter that said that, asking people from the Department of Justice to uphold their oath, and they know that they will, and they support them in doing that. And I think judges are going to do the same thing. Judges are going to be on board with, we can't wait, we can't fuck around, we can't get this tied up in red tape. We're going to make things happen because of the climate that Donald Trump created.
Yeah.
I agree, but you have
absolutely.
to say correct-minded judges. You can't say right-minded these days.
Yeah, okay.
But we're even seeing Reagan-appointed judges, Bush-appointed judges, Trump-appointed judges are saying, whoa, wait a minute, we got to back this up a little bit. So with the exception of a few like Judge Cannon in Florida, even the judges that Trump has put into place are saying, wait a minute, the courts are going to help us through a lot of this, and they're going to have to hold until the midterms and until 2028.
Right. To Rebecca's point, Judge Cannon is right-minded.
Definitely is.
Definitely.
I got jokes
Can-
tonight,
can-
guys.
She's,
Kay, thank
She's
you very much for
lost-minded.
joining us. I appreciate it. You're
Yes,
welcome
have a
back
good night.
anytime, of course.
thanks, Kay.
Thank
That was
you.
really informative.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
That's one of the things why I like to take a lot of people on here, because we always get good people who know what the fuck's going on. I don't claim to know everything, and that's why Eric is here, and Rebecca and TJ and Will and such. We want to try to hash this out so we understand what's truly going on, and the people who join us from the audience is incredibly valuable. I wanted to bring up something that was kind of interesting and get your take on it. Then we'll take somebody else. Donald Trump is angry with AP. Now, AP is a fairly recognized and trusted news service. It's a standard bearer, if you will. And Donald Trump is angry with AP because AP refuses to refer to the Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America. And so Donald Trump says they can't come into the press room in the White House. That's his punishment to them. And somebody asked him about it, and he says, well, they can't follow the law. And I find that interesting because there is no president that
What?
enacts laws. Congress enacts laws.
Yeah.
And the courts are the ones that enforce the laws. And then after that, he did an executive order saying that he and Pam Bondi with the Attorney General's office will determine what are laws.
Right, but are we really surprised by this? I mean, let's
No,
be real.
but
He's
but,
such
but
a
that doesn't. Him saying that doesn't mean anything.
No.
It's like him putting out an executive order saying, "I'm Captain America. Henceforth, you call me Captain America, or henceforth, you call this the Gulf of America." The only people who buy into it are the dumb fucks that worship this idiot.
yeah. He's a total fool and a buffoon. Like it's sad that we're at this point. It's really upsetting that people are this stupid. You know, what happened to the First Amendment? Like these motherfuckers always talk about the Constitution and we got to uphold the Constitution and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. And then the second that Donald Trump does this, you know, like, oh yeah, fuck AP. They're not following the rules. Why is there rules on the First Amendment? I thought you guys were constitutional purists, right?
Originalists.
Yeah.
They
These
only care about the
motherfuckers.
Second Amendment and only up to the point when it says shall not be infringed.
Right.
That's all they care about.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as this executive order and him saying that only Pam Bondi and himself can determine what the law is or can interpret the law, one, if that ends up before a judge, it's going to get laughed out of court and deemed unconstitutional in about 3.5 seconds. And not even this corrupt Supreme Court, I should say this, especially this corrupt Supreme Court would say absolutely fucking not, because that is taking their power away. They wouldn't see that.
And clearly this is starting to bother Chief Justice John Robert, because he's seeing that Donald Trump is talking about ignoring court decisions. And even John Roberts going, whoa, whoa, which is ironic because he's the one that built this fucking monster. But the courts are going to end up standing up because if they don't, they lose all their power.
Well, yeah.
It
will invalidate the judicial system in the entire country.
Yeah, there'd be no point in having a Supreme Court.
And there'd be no reason for him to do that. I mean, they'll just look like fools.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing in DC. DC, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Good evening. How are you, Russian Boomer?
Not too bad. What's on your mind today?
Not much. I was just going to pipe up about the AP and like how we should be kind of singing their praises a little bit, because it wasn't lost on them that the punishment they were going to face was the loss of their White House credentialing. And, that's why I think it's my conjecture that that's why ABC rolled over on the defamation suit that Trump filed against them. Because the defamation, the merits of the suit were kind of flimsy, and the damages, even if you have an airtight defamation suit, you have to show the damages that were caused by the defamation, and what damages were caused by that. I'm not sure. It would be speculative at best, but yeah, I just came out to mention that, and then kind of piggyback onto the constitutional discussion you all were talking about.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, having the First Amendment question that's posed by the loss of White House credentialing, I think it's interesting. There's a lot of places on the Constitution that we're starting to, there's a lot of places in the Constitution that we're going to get some jurisprudence out of that will answer a lot of questions that have kind of never been answered just because nobody was kind of dumb enough to try it.
Yeah.
Like the pardon power. and the First Amendment will figure out a lot of things about the bounds of these things. We've already found out a lot about presidential immunity. We've learned a lot about that in the last few years because of some of Donald Trump's actions. So
Right.
yeah,
He's not immune from everything.
yeah, no, and but it's funny him saying that he and Pam Bondi are going to say what the law is. It's not actually in the Constitution that the courts, the Article 3 judges say what the law is. That's not written in the Constitution anywhere. That comes from Madison v. Marbury.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah, so it's just kind of made up. But I mean, it's been made up like by the courts since
Since the beginning.
just after the founding. The founders were there when it happened. So
But it is in the Constitution that the Congress creates the laws, right? They're lawmakers.
oh yes, absolutely.
Donald Trump doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavily implied that Article 3, the judges there decide what the law says when there's question, but it doesn't explicitly say that. So
Yeah.
it's a kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see the arguments that come out of that.
Hey, DC,
That's
Well,
a
it doesn't-
morbid curiosity more than anything else.
hey
It
DC,
doesn't
can
say the president makes laws either.
No,
right?
it doesn't. Yeah, that's true.
DC, can I ask you what your background is? What do what's your occupation?
Oh, I used to fly airplanes in the Marine Corps, and then I went to law school. So now
Oh,
I'm
okay. I kind of thought you might be a lawyer.
a lawyer. Yeah. You got the feeling you don't like me for some reason?
No, well, I have some friends that are lawyers, so I can't say that I hate them all. But
Yeah.
I do hate most of them.
Well, I tell people,
I,
Lincoln was a lawyer, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I got a sense you were a lawyer, and I wasn't afraid. I just moved my wallet to my front pocket. That's just a natural reaction anytime I'm around a lawyer, though. That way I can keep better track of it. Now, yeah, as a lawyer, I've been saying this for a little while. Since Donald Trump was the president the first time around and this time around, he's really exposed Congress and our judicial system is essentially being toothless, not being as strong as we once thought they were. Do you get that sense about the judicial system as somebody who's a member of the court?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, like, I think it was not that I go around quoting him very often, but like Andrew Jackson was the one I think that said John Marshall has his decision now, let him enforce it. Basically,
Right.
yeah, saying like there's no enforcement mechanism or arm from the judiciary. So what begins to get scary is you start asking yourself, like, well, how would, let's say, like, with the 14th Amendment, this thing goes all the way to the Supreme Court and they decide, no, there is birthright citizenship. But President Trump says, you know what? He tells the Social Security Administration, stop printing Social Security numbers for children
Well, there you
that
go.
have birthright. Yeah, then what
Right.
happens? Who enforces this? How do we stop? And we're going to rely on Congress. Would Congress do anything?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I think the last line of defense here isn't the judicial system, isn't law enforcement. It's got to be us. We've got to push back hard and turn this into a shit show in order for Republicans to recognize and do something with this problem child that they have. We were talking about all these laws and how they could do this, this, and this. That is, unless Donald Trump ignores the laws. And that's the
Right.
big question. If he ignores the laws, then what? And no one seems to have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Well-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there's going to come a point, though, if he's ignoring too many orders and he's going too far against the court, you can't really throw the president in jail for contempt of court. But any of the underlings, sure, they could all go for contempt, and there's going to be somebody under them that are going to uphold their oath and say, "Yeah, we're gonna put you in jail for contempt," and these underlings are going to go. And beyond that, there's going to come a point when Congress is going to see us getting pissed and go, "Oh shit!" As I said earlier, they have to get reelected. They're going to have to. They will end up being backed into a corner, and they're going to only do the right thing because they think it's beneficial for themselves, not because they think
Right.
it's beneficial for us.
Yeah, I think that's generally true. They're going to react to incentives, but I mean, I don't. If they go into jail for not following, the underlings go to jail. I don't know what stops President Trump from pardoning them.
Yeah, but then again, that just creates further I mean,
Yeah, but
everything Donald Trump did, he just delays and delays and delays, and that's what I think TJ was suggesting and Eric was suggesting. Tie it up in court, delay, 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 and ride out this shit show of 2 or 4 years,
Right.
and call it a fucking wash, because that's all that's going to happen.
yeah, but
And
here's
also
the,
why they
here,
need to be brought up on charges in their own states, not just federal.
well, hey, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: who's to say that they have to be brought up on charges right away? There's,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
they're not going to escape the statute of limitations for the crimes they committed. So when Donald Trump's out of the picture, why can't they be charged then?
Well,
That's
a good
possible.
point.
He may pardon them before he leaves. Who knows? But I do agree with you, Rational Boomer. The delay tactic is what we need, because I think, insofar as Congress does not want to do anything with President Trump because they see themselves as aligned, I think as Trump gets shorter and shorter on time, the Republican Party is going to realize that he doesn't have any loyalty to them. He doesn't care what happens to the Republican Party after he leaves office, and
Right.
they're Congress is carrying a big stick. They just refuse to use it. But they
Yeah.
might be motivated when they realize, short on time, that he is doing things that are destructive to them.
We
But
can
I
only
think
hope.
people have to understand too is they think our savior is that at the midterms we get control of the House and the Senate. You have to understand what that means. The best we can hope for, if we get control of the House and Senate, all that means is nothing's going to happen for the next 2 years. Nothing is going to get done, because even if it goes through Congress, Donald Trump's not going to sign it unless there's a supermajority. Likelihood of that is slim. So as we start this presidential term, the best we can hope for is nothing happens or not much happens. And that's a sad part of it. We should be starting to dig out of this hole, but we can't, because we're going to be in this stymied situation until Donald Trump chokes on a fucking Big Mac or whatever. And that's the only thing we can hope for, is that he's out of there before 2028.
And to what?
It sounds like TJ may have gotten a call or something.
Hello? What?
Yeah, go ahead, TJ. You were off for a second.
Oh, yeah, something popped up on my phone and it cut me off. About the pardons, Donald Trump doesn't pardon anybody unless he gets something in return, right?
Right.
Except the only exception to that was the January 6th criminals, right?
But he
did
definitely-
something
but
with
in
the
reality,
criminals.
in reality, he did get something in return, because the Trumplefucks were happy as fuck that he pardoned them. So do you think, do you honestly think that Donald Trump is going to care enough when he's leaving, or whatever, when he's leaving office, to pardon people that did these things? He's not going to give a shit about them. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. So he's not going to do that. He's not going to pardon them.
He could have pardoned the J6ers in his first term, but he
Right.
didn't.
No.
He could have pardoned a lot of motherfuckers. He could have pardoned Mark Meadows,
Right.
but he didn't.
Yeah, that's
So-
my point.
He doesn't do anything unless he's going to get something out of it. And we do know that he was selling pardons for $2 million a pop. So if you got $2 million, maybe you get a pardon.
Yeah. Well, none of these fucks got $2 million, so they're not getting pardons.
Yeah.
No, they definitely are not. Well, DC, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. Great conversation. Thank you for having me up.
And in spite of you being a lawyer, feel free to come back anytime. Just keep your hands to yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That is DC. He's a lawyer. And like I've said, we get a lot of people who know a lot of stuff, and I like that.
Yeah. I'd just like to point out that I talked to Eric before the live, and he does have pants on.
What do you expect in company? Everybody coming over for drinks later? You decided to go full hog and wear pants. Way to go. Way to go. Let's see. Who else we got here? I got a couple of regulars here.
Yeah, JD's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, JD. All right.
Hey,
We got
John.
JD up.
Hey, JD, did you ship me my mash yet? Because I'm ready for it.
Oh no,
Right?
I was thought about that today, actually. Send me an address and I'll ship it over.
We're running dangerously low on moonshine in this house.
Wow.
I'll have to get you a refill.
Mash, I might have to put up a still like they did in the show Mash and just have a still in my house.
Exactly. And by the way, Eric,
we have one.
Eric, congratulations on wearing pants. That's good.
Hey, you know what? There is a still on TikTok Shop, just saying. I want to talk about TikTok Shop because it boosts the algorithm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There, gotta be careful.
And TJ's addicted to TikTok Shop like I'm addicted to Amazon. I actually have curbed my spending because I just started a new business, and all of a sudden all these packages are showing up, and I'm like, what is that? He's like, TikTok Shop.
I have to admit, they want me to sell TikTok Shop stuff, and I don't really want to do it. But I bought my fair share off of TikTok Shop. There are some deals that aren't too bad. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
TJ and I had a conversation one day, and I said, "Yeah, I buy stuff on TikTok Shop. It's not bad. Like you can follow it. It's like better than like buying on Facebook. Like you can see what you're purchasing and where it's going, and you can track it and blah blah blah." And he's all of a sudden he's like addicted.
I'm not addicted.
But I like that Tom Powell can give me a
get
full
like a
demonstration.
package a day.
Yeah, that gets kind of annoying though. Like I love Tom Powell, but Jesus Christ, I mean,
It's not Tom's fault. It's not Tom's fault. I mean, this is why I don't sell things on TikTok. If I sell something on TikTok, they're going to push that video harder than my other videos, and it just looks that way. Tom Powell's doing exactly what he's always doing.
His Friday Live is like 50% selling TikTok Shop stuff.
Yeah. I stopped tuning into his lives just because of that.
Yeah, it's kind of. I love Tom Powell too, Rhea.
No, he's great.
Well, just keep saying TikTok Shop in this live so we get a little boost here.
And I tell you what not to say, but it would be devastating. So, JD, what's on your mind?
Well, we were talking earlier about this executive order today that says that only Trump and Pam Bondi can interpret the law. That is gonna get fucking laughed right out of court, and it's gonna get blocked by some judge by like the end of the week. I fucking guarantee it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's no question about it.
That's gonna go as far as the birthright citizenship thing did, and that got blocked like 48 hours later or something.
I will say this, by virtue of being a creator on TikTok, and because I did my son's wedding, I am now an ordained minister. With that authority, I am renaming Donald Trump Dirty Diaper Dipshit Donald Trump. And I expect everybody. And if you don't fucking call him that, you can't come in the live. I'm just fucking saying it.
Fucking right.
You added a D? Now it's D.
Can we just call him like quadruple D? Because that seems like a lot to say.
I think it's important you say it. Because Dirty Diaper Donnie Dipshit or Dirty Diaper Dipshit
I just saw in
Donnie.
the comments, call him Shitler.
Yeah. Don't say that shit because then I'll be down to 100 people in here. Anyway, JD is a farmer. He's a young man. You're Gen Z, right?
I am, yeah.
Gen Z in an old man's life, and I appreciate that. Have you noticed any impact around your situation with regards to these tariffs and stuff? I know a lot of farmers are getting affected by this.
I'm hearing a lot of stories about not around me yet, really. Although bird flu is around, I'm hearing now. But I heard about Kansas. There's a ton of farmers in Kansas that had contracts with the USAID that are getting fucked right now. And so apparently the Kansas state government is trying to pick up those contracts somehow, but I don't know how that's going to work out. But apparently,
I saw on one of the media outlets that there are several representatives and senators appealing to Donald Trump. I think Grassley in Iowa is appealing to Donald Trump. Could you please leave out the potash? Because that's going to cause us a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of wild they didn't think about that beforehand.
Yeah, yeah. You would
Yeah,
think a
and
senator might be able to grasp that before it happens.
exactly. Well, in case
Not when he's in his 90s.
for people that are wondering what potash is, it's a dry fertilizer. So, and it most of it comes from Canada. It's mined in Canada and shipped down here.
Well,
What,
good.
what is it again? What is potash?
Potash, it's a dry fertilizer.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I,
kind
I,
of
I was,
it's kind of a red color. It looks like sand, really, and so they just spread it on the fields,
being
So
a city boy, I thought it was something totally different. Potash meant something different to me. Um, I thought it had something to do with seeds and stems and shit. But anyway, that's.
yeah. So and it's
I appreciate the explanation.
the same thing with like natural gas. Like anhydrous ammonia is a nitrogen fertilizer that we use in corn production, and it's made by basically by like purifying or whatever by something with it comes from natural gas. So
Okay.
and most of that natural gas comes from Canada.
Right.
So if we lose that and we lose potash, we're fucked.
Most of my
Wow.
experience with fertilizers is with potassium nitrate. I won't tell you why, but I'm just telling you.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I. Judging by your curiosity about corn mash, I think I probably know.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking about a lot of illicit shit. Sure way to get us taken down. JD, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
get to a bunch of people. All right, thank you.
John.
That's JD. He is John. He is a farmer. He's a Gen Z dude, and he's got a lot of interesting information. He was on the Rational Boomer podcast recently. Here's another guy we see frequently.
Coach.
No,
Coach Mox, the antithesis of Will, Mr. Low Key.
Apparently,
How you
Coach
doing,
was
Coach?
throwing down on Will's live.
Came in here to make sure Will was all right. I was going to give CPR, make sure he didn't have a stroke.
Yeah, Will, you might need to pound on that chest a little bit because he gets pretty wired up.
He was tonight.
What's bugging? Yeah, he goes an hour and a half, and then he comes here. I don't know how the fuck he can do that. I did a podcast and a live in the same night. I had to be fed intravenously for about an hour after that. Too fucking much.
Hey, that reminds me of what you said to me the other day. You said, I'm going to do a live. Will wants to do a podcast, but I'm not doing it because I can't go for 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, exactly. Will reminds me of the guy. There was a guy I worked with that just loved to argue, loved to debate, and every time we sat and worked together, he did that. And one time he was in a meeting as I'm walking out, and he waves at me. I put my head in the door and I said, Gary, I'd love to say hi, but I don't have time to argue about it, so I'm going to go. And I just walked by.
I actually want to know what Will's secret is because I am about to be 50 years old and I do not have the energy that he has, and I want to know where he gets it from.
Yeah. Well, Coach, what's on your mind tonight?
Oh, not a lot. I just I messed up today and started reading some things about how the brain is affected by a cult, and if it's actually scientific and can it happen, and it does. I mean, it's kind of scary once you start reading it, and
oh yeah,
it made me reflect on everything, like starting with the the insurrection, how they overlooked that, and the fact that in 2022 he went and made best buddies with Musk, and he bought Twitter for his little personal blowhorn to put all this propaganda out, and just how this plan, it's so easy to put things together for us. And I realize now that there's going to be a lot of people, now that he's in office and he's going in the direct opposite that he told these people, the gas is higher, groceries are higher, He knew all about what he lied about with the Project 25, and he's going in the opposite direction, and they're still clapping. And it scares the shit out of me that we have this cult. It's a cult. And the thing is, I don't know how this ends with these people. Like, I know some of them will eventually come around, but I can go still find a farmer right now that'll defend them. That's getting ready to lose half his shit or all of it. They'll defend them, and it's a disease. Like it's real and it's chemical, and we all knew that. I know I'm pointing out the obvious, but it's just reading some of that and looking at past cults and how they acted. It'll scare the shit out of you.
Well, it is a mental illness and a lack of intellect amongst these people, and I'm not doing it to call them names. That's what it is. I talked to a Trump humper one time, and they say, "I like his policies." I go, "What policies are those?" And he couldn't come up with a policy, and then he was kind of quiet. And I said, "Let me explain it to you as how I see it. You're nothing but a fanboy little bitch, and you like him because you think he's cool. You don't understand policies because you couldn't, because Donald Trump has no fucking policies. No. You just like somebody who has a lot of money, who you think is talking tough and saying the things you say, so he must be right." And unfortunately, the fatal flaw here is when you want something to be right, even though it's wrong, you're going to fail in the end. And how it's going to end is Donald Trump is going to be out of power one way or another at some time in the not so distant future. And these people are going to be left twisting in the wind, because that's what Donald Trump does. He leaves people twisting in the wind. There's going to be court cases. There's going to be people going to trial. Donald Trump won't be there to fucking save them. And it'll get very ugly for the Republican Party. And the Democrats, if they have the ability to do it, they'll spend the next several years trying to dig out of the bullshit that Donald Trump left behind.
Absolutely. And it's just, it comes more to the forefront every day. Because if you just sit and think for 1 second right now, we have people in this country who now view Canada as the enemy. Canada, of all people. And it just speaks to how they get in line, and he says, "Hey, everybody, look at Musk over here. Look what he's doing with this." And they all go over. Meanwhile, they're paying more here, and the economy, inflation goes up, and it's a sickness. And it's wild. It's crazy.
The general deflection.
Really, yeah, I don't know that. I think with Trump-lafucks, they're a lost cause. I think we shouldn't worry about them.
No.
I think we should worry about those Republicans who are just pussies.
Yeah.
The ones that they know better, but they have no courage. And same with the Democrats. We have to get them to the point where it's going to cost them more standing with Donald Trump than supporting what's right. It's a matter of self-enrichment. As long as they think they gain more with Donald Trump, they'll stand by him no matter what. Once Donald Trump starts losing, they'll run away from him. And a lot of people will be standing around going, "Yeah, I always thought Donald Trump sucked." No, you didn't. I'm going to be here to remind those motherfuckers every day. People like the Chuck Grassley's, people like some of the House members that supported him. Yeah. You're not going to get away from this. You're going to pay the price that we all are going to have to pay once Donald Trump is no longer in the picture.
I'm also super worried about the relatives of the Trump-lafucks, the ones I have 7 cousins whose father is a complete Trump-lafuck, and they try, to not have those conversations with him, but they're like devastated. They're devastated because they can't have like a real relationship with their father because he just can't not have a conversation about politics with them. Like they can't. It's horrible for them. Like, and I feel terrible. And they're going to be, in the long run, their family relationship is never going to be the same again. It's never going to be the same again because of Donald Trump.
I heard somebody say something one time that helps people in that situation. My dad's this, my mom's this. And what I heard was the family you build should always take priority over the family you came from.
Yes.
Love mom, love dad, love your brother, love your sister, but most important is the family you're building, your immediate family, your wife, your husband, your kids. Focus on them first. And if there's enemies to what you want to do, whether they be relatives or not, I'm sorry, you got to
Right.
cut them loose.
I agree
Mike-
with that. When it's your father, how do you justify that in your heart?
And
Oh, well, I'm the wrong guy to ask, because I did that long ago.
Yeah,
I got rid of my father before Donald Trump, and it was basically because he was a mini Donald Trump.
But
Cutting
I
that
know
off
my
was no
I know my
problem.
uncle, and I'm fairly certain that he's not really a Trumplefuck. He's just misinformed, and
right.
And he- and he's
he's
actually-
ignorant. He's ignorant.
he's not stupid though, because
No, he's it's not being stupid, it's being ignorant.
yeah, and
Yeah.
his biggest problem is religion.
Right.
It's his biggest problem is religion.
And you know what? I want to say something else that well, to kind of expound on what Mike was saying, is that, your family's not always your blood. You build a family sometimes, and this
Yeah.
holds true to me, that there's people that are not my blood who are more my family than my blood. And that's unfortunate that I have to say that, but it's reality.
It's
There's-
me.
Yeah.
I'm that person.
Yeah, well, you and many other of our people in our circle are our family. They're not our blood, but they're more family than our blood.
Well, I
I agree
think
with that for sure.
I think families will start to understand when it happens, when they see the results start to happen. Like, for instance, to my mom, with Medicare and stuff, if she's affected by things like that, then other family members are going to see that. And I think that's when you'll start to see them start to come around. But it's heartbreaking. I mean, I've got an older brother and I got a younger brother. For some reason, my younger brother by not coming out and saying anything, I know where he's at. And I've been around and around with him. Me and my older brother are outspoken. My mom, same way. But if he sees this affect my mom or even my older brother who's disabled, then I know he's gonna feel like shit. And
It's too bad it has to get to that level to do
You're right.
that. Rebecca, you asked, how do you justify cutting somebody out of your life? I cut my father out of my life, and he kind of did too because of his lifestyle and what he was doing. My justification was this. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. I know what he does to families. I know the dark cloud he brings over every situation. I did not want that for my kids. I did not want that for my wife. So the best thing I could do is keep him away.
Yeah.
People say you can't hate your dad till he dies. I said I didn't hate him anymore. I didn't need a dad. I'm a dad. I'm a grandpa. I don't need a dad. To me, he just became inconsequential because he was a danger to my family. And so I just acted like he wasn't there until I got the call from a police department saying he's dead. I go, okay. And the guy was trying to be very tender with me. Well, your dad died. I go, I gathered that. He's 82 years old. He's not healthy, and I don't have a relationship with him. Just tell me where I got to go to do what I got to do, and we'll be on our way. And I know the cop looked at me like I was crazy, but he has no idea the life I lived and what this guy really was. So
Right.
you got to protect your family first. And if that means pushing away your mom, your dad, your uncle, your cousin, whatever, you fucking do it because that's your job.
I get that, Mike, but your dad was a narcissist and not a nice person in general. But that's not the case with my uncle. Like, he's not a bad person.
But he
just-
supports Donald Trump.
Correct. But
I got
don't
news for you,
necessarily
Rebecca.
think that
If he supports Donald Trump,
because he
Rebecca,
If he
he's
sup-
watching families get torn apart. He's watching this country.
he's
get
not a
torn
good
apart.
person.
I understand
There
that,
isn't a
and
person-
listen, he's my uncle. He's not my dad, so I have no loyalty to him whatsoever. And I actually had to come out and ask my cousin,
Yeah.
"Is your dad a Trumplefuck?" And she didn't answer me for weeks. But then again, she lives in France, so. And then when she finally answered me, she's like, "Yeah," and he he tries to hide it from me, and he tries to not be political with me, but he did vote for Trump. And I said, how do you feel about that? And she's like, well, he's my dad, and I love him, and he's always been a good dad, and what do I do? And you can't tell somebody who feels that way, cut that person out of your life. Like, that's not, like, you can't necessarily, it's not always as black and white as that. And I feel badly for my cousins because they have to deal with that, but like, they can't just cut him out of their lives because he's their dad. Like, they can't just say that and they can try to avoid the subject, and they can try to, but like, they can't just say, hey, dad, sorry, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you voted for Trump, because that it's not as easy as some of us think it is, because he's not. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm sorry, I said he's not a bad person, but I guess he is because he voted for Trump. But he may have voted for Trump for reasons that were not what as black and white as we.
I think it's the difference between being evil and being ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference: is being evil or being ignorant.
But that's the same thing. My brother, he buries his head. He doesn't want to see the news. He doesn't want to hear what is really happening. And I think that's the reality for a lot of them. They don't, right now, especially right now, they know invading a guy wants to take over Greenland. Are you kidding me? Come on. And I posted something on there the other day. I just said, what would Jesus do? Would he want that? How about that, Christians? Like, I want to hear the churches speak up about that. And they won't. They bury their heads.
Well, Rebecca, I will tell you this. For me, it's very cut and dried. And I come from a different perspective. When I see somebody who votes for Donald Trump, whether he's ignorant or whether he's evil, it doesn't matter to me, because what they support is overturning democracy, taking away rights from women, and it's going to impact my kids, my daughter-in-law, my granddaughter, my future grandson. And I will tell you this, I don't care if you're my brother or my best friend. If you fuck with my kids or my grandkids, that's done. We're at war. And I don't care what happens to you. I don't care how you're related to me. And maybe I'm more cut and dried. Maybe I'm not as sensitive as some people. But when somebody who has attacked you and is going to impact your offspring, your kids and your grandkids, that's a fucking bridge too far. There is no sympathy. There is no forgiveness for that in my mind.
Well, and that's what my one cousin that I'm really close with, that's how she feels. I mean, she has a relationship with him, but she either he skirts the subject or she doesn't bring it up, in situations. But she's devastated by the fact that he voted for Trump. Devastated. And
you say he skirts the issues. He skirts the issue. Does that not tell you he knows it's wrong, but he refuses to change his mind?
I agree, and I brought that up with her, and she's like, and she basically takes a stance as, he's my dad, and if that's what we have to do to have a relationship, then that's what we have to do. And she's a young woman. She's of childbearing age, and 5 of his 7 children are women. And I'm sure she wants to go at him full force, but that's her dad. So she.
What bothers me, and my wife does this to me all the time. If we go over to somebody's house and one of the people are a Trump-a-fuck, she'll say, now don't bring up politics, which I don't. I don't bring up politics, but people know very well that I'm kind of high profile when it comes to my political opinion. And I said, I won't talk about politics. I don't need to. I talk about it all fucking day. But if that clown walks over to me and says something stupid, I need to respond. And she says to me, oh, no, don't, because it'll make people in the family mad. It'll cause problems. You don't want to do that. I go, why are you telling me this? Why doesn't somebody tell that dumb motherfucker that? Just tell him to stay away from me. Don't say stupid shit, and I won't have to make him look like a fool. That's the problem. The Democrats have always said, I don't want to cause too much trouble. But that's the thing. They don't learn until they get fucking hammered.
Can I point something out on that comment? Is that's why the Trump-a-fucks and the MAGAs and all these fucks think the Democrats are weak. Because That's the exact reason, because we don't confront them when they say shit. And so they think that we're beta or whatever the stupid stuff that they say. Oh, you're a libtard, you're a bitch, you're whatever. That's why they think that, because we don't fucking take them head on, and we
By
should.
Yeah, well, that's
you don't actually mean me and you, apparently.
No, not me and you, but that I'm saying generally. That's why they think that, because we have couth, and we have we've been taught to be polite, and the Trumple fucks are toothless, fucking chewing tobacco pieces of shit that they don't do that, and we need to do that. We need to take them head on all the time.
Well, that's the thing is this. That man goes against everything that I've ever been taught my entire life of how to conduct myself, even in public, how I raise my son, every single thing. And if you could name me one good trait that he has, I'll shut up. All right. But name me one good human trait that Donald Trump has.
He's good at flying on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane.
Right.
Yeah, he did a good job there.
He did a really good job. Look at
Speaking of that, we haven't seen those files.
Look at page 18 on the flight log. He's on there.
Oh, he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's excellent at getting convicted. He does a great job.
He does.
Times in
I'm
one fucking case.
saying good
That's
trait.
impressive.
Good trait.
Yeah. There's one time where he's successful. Convicted 34 times on one motherfucking case.
Yeah.
Coach, thanks for joining us. I'm going to try to get some more people up here. We're getting toward the end, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I understand. I understand Rebecca, and well, he's family. I can cut off family.
Well, I can cut
and
him
I
off.
have.
I literally have thought to myself, like, should I confront him? Like, will that make a difference? I don't
No,
know.
it won't make a difference because they don't listen to shit.
They don't listen.
They don't listen to. They don't listen to shit. It's better to ignore them, but I'm not going to like them because of who they are. Bringing in Matrix now. Matrix, how you doing?
Hey, good evening, guys. Just wanted to jump in. Rebecca, I don't know about your situation fully. However, what I have done in my own personal life is just said, I will love you from afar, because if I'm near you, I will strangle you. That's basically.
I like
That's
that.
what my cousin does. I kind of think that's how she reacts, and I
This
don't
is
know
the
how
one in
much.
France? Is this the one in France?
She lives in France.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
about
she's loving.
95% of the time.
She's loving her father from afar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically how I've done it with some family members. I'm in the DC area, and the few cousins that I do know have supported Velveeta Voldemort. I
like that.
I'm using that. I'm stealing it.
Orange, who shall not be named. So I don't even want to say his name. So yes, I don't invite them to my home down here in the DC area anymore. So I will love you from afar. Like I said, otherwise I will place hands on you. So I know my temperament. So let's play it safe. And I don't want to lose my security clearance over stupidity. So
Yeah. I get it. And I'm with you on that, because the Trumple fucks that I'm related to, I do not invite. Like, we used to invite them to 4th of July or Christmas or whatever. We don't invite them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they've been crossed off the list.
Yeah. They're on the naughty list. Santa's naughty list forever.
Yep. Cool it shall be.
The good news for them, though, is that now they'll probably get an invitation to the Kennedy Center. So,
good.
They got that over you.
They've got
They
they've
get
got that over me, but then they can't go to the Kennedy Library because that's gone now.
Right. Well, let's be real.
They don't read anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
They don't know what the Kennedy Library is, and they don't know what the Kennedy Center is. So we don't have to worry about it.
Except that all their favorite celebrities have now bowed out from all their and they're refunding all their tickets.
Mhm.
I'm looking for the very first Kennedy Center combination concert tractor pull with Kid Rock. That should be a good one.
Oh my gosh,
That's
not
exactly what it's gonna be.
dirt and sand and oh gosh, no.
Oh, they'll just
It'll be the first Kennedy Center wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
turn the mall into mud and then
Oh.
have
Yeah.
big trucks go through there.
Hey,
that
can
would
I-
be great.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How is it efficient for, we're all about efficiency now, right?
Yeah.
How is it efficient to go to the NASCAR race and spend $8 million in taxpayer money for security for the president to go to race day? Is that
The same
efficient?
way that it's
Around the
efficient.
course once and then leave.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
same way that it's efficient for Elon Musk to get 8 million a week.
Yeah. Oh, it's really efficient. It really is.
Well, here's the thing. Donald Trump loves attention. He hates anybody getting more attention than him. So he's the first president to go to the Super Bowl, which was a joke, and then now he goes to the Daytona 500. He loves attention. He's a fucking he's a publicity whore, and he's got to get his nose into everything because he wants to be popular, but he's becoming woefully unpopular more and more every day.
Do you notice how these celebrities have like sunk their careers now? Like Snoop Dogg,
Yes.
Yeah,
Wrong.
yeah.
Kid Rock, their careers are
Well,
sunk.
Well, Kid Rock didn't really have a career. He had a
Well,
couple
no,
songs.
no, that's
and-
not
and-
necessarily true. He had a following, but now he's like, a third of his following.
Well,
probably.
Ted Nugent's always been F list, so nothing changed there.
You guys
Yeah.
were mentioning earlier about the siphoning of funds to that so-called, what is that, it's not a hedge fund. What is it?
It's a sovereign wealth fund.
Yes, the Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Yes.
I was actually going to add in, well, we know where the first bit of Sovereign Wealth Fund is going to come from. That's the 80 million that was taken out of the New York FEMA.
That was stolen from New York's
That was
FEMA
stolen
fund.
from
Yeah,
That's right, because
I
no
s-
one knows where that money went
I
after
said
it was taken out.
I said that on a live 2 nights ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's like we know where the first 80 million will come from, yeah?
Yeah. And what I guarantee that's where it went.
Yep. It didn't go back to Congress.
No.
No.
no, of course not.
I think that sovereign wealth fund, though, is eventually going to get challenged in court, and it's going to go away because, again, Congress has the power of the purse,
Right.
not
Well, according
the
to the
executive
reports
branch.
now, he's the executive order saying that he will have the power of the purse. Per the
And
executive
that will
order
get tossed by the
tonight.
courts as well, because it's very clear the power of the purse rests in the House.
Yep.
It's, there's no ambiguity in the wording of how that's written.
Donald Trump says a lot of shit. He also said he was a stable genius. He also said he won the 2020 election. So Donald Trump's a pathological liar. Who listens to anything that dumb motherfucker says?
Well, the only thing that he did say that was true is that he did say he wasn't a Christian. Come on now.
Well,
Yeah.
True.
I agree with that.
And his followers didn't hear it.
No.
No, of
He
course
said
not.
it to them, they went, "Oh yeah, he's a Christian." What?
Yeah, it's
Yep, buying his Bibles up like they're freaking hotcakes.
Upside down. Yep.
Yep.
Upside down with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution in it.
Sure. We'll pepper spray a bunch of civilians in order to hold the Bible upside down for a photo op.
Yep.
It's a regular day.
yeah, another
So-
day. Well, I tell you this, Matrix, after listening to you, I got to work on that accent because if I could emulate your accent in a male voice, I would sound so much smarter. So much smarter.
Oh, Mike, nothing would make you sound smarter than you are.
Thank you. Do you know how many? I'm sorry, Mike. I've been listening to you for at least 2 years now. So
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Any chance I get, I'd listen to you definitely because you do come with the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Got the receipt.
I appreciate I
Ma-
appreciate that.
Matrix, what sort of business are you in?
Oh, I am, for lack of a better word, I am, if you're a veteran, I work on My Healthy Vet. I am one of the developers.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
I work with helmets to hard hats, so I don't know much about what you do, but I do work with veterans.
Okay. But yes, and oh guys, so I got my lovely OPM letter today
What is it?
stating that if I know of any changes to any DEI programs, that I'm to report it in the next 10 days. As
Oh,
in if they've changed the name to be ambiguous or anything like that,
wow.
I need to report. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Right. Mm-hmm.
You sent that to
wow.
an and they sent that to an educated black woman. That's
Yep.
brilliant. That's
Mm-hmm.
fucking brilliant.
Brilliant.
Wow.
I'm
I will
gonna
say,
guess that there's gonna be no response to that letter,
Oh, I'm going to pretend I never got it.
yeah,
right?
that would probably be wise. And since you guys were talking about what you work on, I'll tell you that I work on a little thing called Candyland with my 4-year-old granddaughter. That's coming
There
up
you
Saturday. So
go.
I'm fighting a good fight there.
Give in. Give in.
And I better lose
Mm-hmm.
because shit gets ugly if I win.
Do not play her in Monopoly. Give her all of Boardwalk and Park Place that you need to.
Uno, she's
Yeah.
a
Oh
fucking demon
no.
on Uno.
Uno has gotten ruthless.
It is.
I played that a few weeks ago with a friend, and I was like, "What is this draw 25? What the hell is that?"
No shit. No shit. No shit. Well, Matrix, thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime to come on. You make me sound smarter. You make us all sound smarter because you know your shit, and I love the accent. So please come
Thanks,
back
Matrix.
anytime.
Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yet another intelligent person from the audience. I'm going to see if I can get another one up here real quick. Let's see. Let's go with Oliver's mom. She was on Will's live. Since I'm basically the
Hi, everyone.
Oliver's mom. How you doing? Hi.
Doing good.
What's on your mind that you haven't told Will about already?
Well, one of the things I'd been thinking about, they keep putting Doge keeps putting all this stuff on their website saying that they found this and they found that. And even if they did find things, a lot of that money's already spent. So,
Right,
I mean, they didn't really find all of that. Some of it's already gone and spent.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all performance with them. There's no
Right.
substance there. It's all,
Yep.
see, we were right.
Yes,
Fuck
and
you.
I also saw something, I don't know if any of you saw it. I saw something that they're now saying that Musk is not a part of Doge. He's part of the
Yeah.
executive branch under Trump.
Ugh,
Yeah.
yes.
Whatever.
They
Yeah.
found that
Well,
in
here's the thing.
document.
Here's the thing. When the Doge first came out, he specifically said it would be run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Then they booted Vivek Ramaswamy out. So it was Elon Musk. And now that there's some illegalities with regards to Doge and they know there's going to be some kickback, oh, he doesn't run that. He's with me. This is going to end up badly for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It's just all another fucking smoke and mirrors, gaslighting bullshit. My question is, if Elon Musk isn't running Doge, who the fuck is? Because
Right.
we need to know who that is.
Hey, it's one of the kids, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to prison.
Yeah.
They're going to prison.
He's roped in these
19-year-old with the
freaking
coat with
19 and
nickname
20-year-old
Big
kids to fucking send them to prison.
Yes.
Yep. They're going to go to prison for a long time for something they have no idea what they're doing.
Right. And Elon Musk, whether he's in charge of Doge or not, he was in the fucking buildings. He's culpable for this shit
Yep.
when Donald Trump is no longer a factor.
He's a co-conspirator.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No question about it.
Now, there's one other thing that I haven't heard about a lot lately, and maybe I missed it. Isn't there a bill out there called the SAVE Bill or the SAVE Act that
Yes.
has to do with ID for registration to vote
Yep.
and having
Right.
it has to match your driver's license and your birth certificate and your driver's license have to match, and
Yep.
that's just going to disenfranchise a lot of women. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Part of the point.
That's the whole point of it. That
Any
they
married woman is fucked.
right.
Unless you have a passport. If you have a passport, you're okay.
Yeah, but it has to be in your name, like in your your married name.
Right.
Yeah, my
yes.
passport is in my married name, so I'm okay there.
But not everybody has a passport.
Exactly.
Well, I did hear they want to make it so you can have that real ID, the gold star ID thing.
Yeah.
But they haven't finished implementing nationwide and making mandatory for travel. But the big thing is if your ID doesn't match your birth certificate, you have to have all supporting documentation every step of the way, every time your name changed, to be able to register is what they want to do.
Right.
And you always hear from these Trumplefucks, they say, well, I got those papers. Why doesn't everybody have those papers? Well, you don't know what everybody's been through. You don't know whatever happened in people's life, especially if you're dealing with women, some of whom have escaped bad situations. Maybe they weren't able to get those documents. Maybe they haven't got themselves set up financially to go acquire those documents. They're not free when you need a copy. You got to pay
Right.
for them. And a lot of them aren't entirely cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing that a lot of people don't realize is the birth certificate that you get from a hospital is not official. You have to
Right.
go somewhere, wherever the office is in your area, and get your official birth certificate. It's and you stand in line. It takes money. It's during the day, so if you have a job, you can't really do that.
Mhm.
And my ex and I and my son had to do that for our passports the first time around. And we didn't have my son with us. The only person who could request his we thought was him at first, but then we come to find out that I could request it, but my ex couldn't. My husband at the time couldn't. He
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to request it, but I was because I gave birth, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's all about voter suppression.
Yep.
And they disenfranchised thousands of people to vote in this last election. And that's a big problem. And they're going to continue to pound these things to disenfranchise women and minorities, all these people. They're just going to continue to do it.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And
That's why I'm thinking we're going to be changing a lot of things once we're out of this morass of Donald Trump. Our Congress, the way we vote, everything's going to change to try to fix the problems they put us into.
Yeah. Now, one thing before I go, last week I went ahead and called to the Capitol switchboard and left messages and talked to my senators and my representative to let them know what I was upset about. So I was hoping that I could give that number to y'all so other people can do the same if they want to.
Sure.
It is 202-224-3121. And you'll get a switchboard person during the day, and they will put you directly through. Now, my senators, I had to leave one voicemail, but I did get an office person for my representative, and they listened to my concerns also. And then after that, I did my very first video saying what I had done and what I had talked about. So I was kind of proud of myself for doing all that. But yeah, you can call them, and you can call them day after day and just overload and tell them what you are upset about. I'm trying to think about when my next call will be and what topics I'll put in that call.
Can you put that number in the comments?
Sure.
202-224. What was it?
3121.
Yeah, put it in the comments so people can copy and paste.
And we're going to wrap things up here. I appreciate you coming on, Oliver's mom. Feel free to come back anytime. We try to get
Sure.
as many as we can. But thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
All right. We're going to wrap things up, but I just want to say something, too, about reaching out to your representative. I have a representative here it's a new representative. Her name is Kelly Morrison. She's located in the 3rd Congressional District of Minnesota. She is a Democrat. I sent her an email, and I requested a response. Never fucking got one.
Yeah.
Kelly, you're new at the fucking job. And I'm a little different than other people in that we have a lot of people listening.
Right.
And do not fucking do that. Don't do that to anybody. But I'm going to tell you, Kelly, you don't really have my support right now because you can't respond at a time when we need some reassurance.
Yep.
You're a new representative. Get on the fucking stick.
And it's bad for us. It's bad for Rebecca and I because where we live, our congressional district is gerrymandered. So where we live, there's like it's a blue city, but we're gerrymandered into a district that's so huge that we have a Republican congressman.
Yeah.
And he's such a scumbag piece of shit that it's a waste of time to even call him.
What's his name?
Mike Kelly.
Fuck Mike Kelly.
Yeah, fuck Mike Kelly. He's a, you know, Donald Trump came here one time. Which election was it, Rebecca? It was
It was
2016.
I believe.
He came here, and they had the rally at the arena, and Mike Kelly, of course, went to the airport to meet Donald Trump and ride over to the rally with Donald Trump, and they get on stage, and this idiot congressman that we have, he's up there with them, waving his hands and doing all this crazy shit. And Donald Trump gets up there, and this is what he says. He says, I was on my way over here with Congressman Mike Kelly, and I asked Mike Kelly, what does this city need? And we have beaches here, okay? He said, Mike Kelly told me you guys need sand, so we're going to get you the sand. And I watched this thing, and I put my head down. Like, we've lost manufacturing. We've lost jobs out the ass in this community. You think we need motherfucking sand? That's what we need? We need fucking jobs. That's how stupid they are. It's really fucking disheartening how stupid. Yeah, we need motherfucking sand for the beach. We get it every year anyway. It doesn't matter. We need fucking manufacturing and jobs. It's fucking
Absolutely.
sick.
This was literally during the point where Erie went from being the 3rd largest population in the state
to 4th.
being like the 5th.
Or 5th,
Because
yeah.
people, like,
We've
left
lost so many people because
of jobs.
we lost jobs.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. I want to thank Eric, TJ, and Rebecca, and Will. Hopefully Will's sleeping now. I
is.
would be.
He's out.
Yes,
He's out.
And he's out. And all the people that
He's
joined
making
us on
TikTok
the
videos and sending them to all to us.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But and thanks to all the people who are in the audience that joined us. You make it a lot better, and we'll keep doing the lives. And we want you to participate as much as you can, and we'll bring you in as much as we can. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen. We've been here over 2 hours. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Night, Mike.